Upset alert concern meter. I've got mild to moderate to, in some cases, severe concern for some of you this weekend. And in this segment, because some people got confused last week in the comment section because they didn't listen, what we're doing is we're pointing out some fairly big point spreads, like Wisconsin, Alabama. I'm going to start with that. And I'm not telling you whether I think the upset's just going to happen. I'm giving you my concern level for the favorite, i.e. Alabama's favored by 20.5 against Wisconsin. Wisconsin has announced they're starting Danny O'Neal at quarterback. That's the backup there. He has started. He has starting experience. He started 11 games for San Diego State last year. I do not look at this as a big-time upset alert game for Alabama. I'm putting a 3.5 on it on the upset alert concern meter, which sucks because I know all the creative media departments for the underdogs. They just scour this segment, and they look for sound bites. I know that'll be played for Wisconsin, whatever. I think it's an indicator game for Alabama. That's what I think. Because I think the big game's coming up in a couple of weeks against Georgia. This game right here, they could win 38-3, or they could win 23-11, and it may make me feel two totally different ways. It's the indicators. Even maybe in a win against Wisconsin, do we see indications of things to come against a Georgia, against a Missouri, against a Tennessee, against LSU, etc.? I just totally forget Alabama even plays Oklahoma this year, and then they go to Auburn, so it's a pretty crazy stretch. I'm going to put a 3.5 on it. I'm looking at the Alabama offensive line specifically because they are facing a pretty good defense here. I'm looking at that because Florida State, their speed and their athleticism and aggression made Alabama look pretty bad. They got worked in week 1. Can't let that happen again. How about this game happening in Oxford, Jesse? No one's talked about it all week. Did you even know Arkansas and Ole Miss were playing this weekend? Now, maybe it has something to do with the fact that they're big headline games, so no one's paying attention to Ole Miss laying 7.5 at home against Arkansas. Maybe it's that people didn't expect much from Arkansas in the preseason. They haven't watched them play yet. You weren't exactly locked into Arkansas versus Arkansas State in Little Rock, perhaps the last game ever at War Memorial Stadium for Arkansas last week. So maybe you just haven't paid attention to him. Maybe you remember last year Ole Miss was up 28-3 in this game 20 minutes into it, and you're thinking, rinse repeat. Well, I don't feel that way. So I'm putting a 7 on the upset alert meter because I think Arkansas has the better quarterback situation, at least as it stands right now going into this game. Now, Ole Miss has the better roster situation, or so I think, but we're still too early in the season to know about the SEC, and the way I'm looking at it now in sort of a four-shelf grocery store point of view is I am choosing to believe there are no boxes on the top shelf and there are no boxes on the bottom shelf yet. What I mean by that is no team has truly separated itself. That may happen, but it hasn't yet. So you got a bunch of teams on tier 2, shelf 2, and then on shelf 3, you also have a bunch of teams. Your Vanderbilts are not your normal Vanderbilts. Your Kentucky's, Mississippi States, those teams aren't normal. Those teams are supposed to be terrible. Those are supposed to be the ones you look at and you just dial up the W. Maybe not. And Arkansas may be part of that shelf 3, looking to climb to shelf 2. That's why we're going to play the game Saturday. At the very least, I expect a very, very competitive, fiery effort out of Sam Pittman's guys. I'm putting a 7 on the upset alert concern scale. Don't be mocking me. For Kentucky went in there and beat them last year. So don't think it can't happen. Next up, USF at Miami. I don't think this one's going to happen. I didn't say can't. I don't think it's going to happen. We broke the game down on Tuesday night's show. Miami's laying 17.5 at home against South Florida. All the potential things that could have caused the upset here are gone. Namely, USF won last week. So you're not sneaking up on anybody. So what we have is USF, all the respect in the world on this show. I'll show you how much I respect them later by where I rank them. I hope you're watching, AP. Literally, I hope you're watching their games before you vote on them. So USF, they're in a double do-down spot. Very, very rarely do college football teams play at an A level a third week in a row. Most of them don't play it 2 weeks in a row. That's the nature of college football players. USF, Boise, win. At Florida, win. You're going to go at Miami, the best out of all those teams so far. And think about the level you have to play at with Miami being fully aware of you and fully prepared for you. You're going to force a bunch of turnovers? I don't know that you're doing that with Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck will take exactly what you give him. I think they've got a fairly significant line of scrimmage advantage both ways. That's not a shock. Alex Golesh, the one reason why I still make this a 4.5 on the upset alert concern scale is this is not new for them. Not even this year. USF has modeled themselves as an organization that can get these kind of games to the fourth quarter. The reason why I am hesitant to circle this thing as a big upset alert concern meter game is because everyone's aware of that now. And I think just athletically and situationally, it doesn't set up well for USF. I could be wrong. People are tired of me saying that. I'm not wrong. I don't think USF's got much of a shot here. They clipped it, though. I know they did. Hey, wait just a second. Appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. Do you have any idea what USC is doing this weekend? Not playing defense. You don't need to calm down on that. They're okay defensively. Maybe still some things to iron out and prove, but so far so good. USC, to answer my question, is traveling to Purdue. Where else would you rather be on Saturday than Los Angeles, California? Well, I'll tell you, West Lafayette, Indiana. That's where you'd rather be. Well, that's where you're going to be. And Barry Odom's got 80-plus new players there at Purdue. No one knows what to expect. No one has a clue. They've looked okay defensively so far this year. Now they welcome in USC, minus 21.5. What's the upset alert concern meter here? 5. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think anyone's really nailed how to travel west to east, except for Oregon. USC struggled with this last year. It's a competitive character test game for USC. They are a much better team than Purdue. Remember last year, and it's just ironic that Purdue was the team that Oregon played. But Oregon played Ohio State, classic game. Then they go on the road the very next week. And that should have been a letdown spot. Didn't matter how good Purdue was, should have been a letdown spot. And Oregon went in there and just trashed them. I think they pitched a shutout. And I thought that was a very, very big competitive character reveal for the Oregon program. Well, this is a competitive character game for USC. Because there's no matchup I'm going to waste your time pointing out that gives Purdue a huge advantage over USC. That's not there. What would have to happen here is USC goes in there and looks lethargic, and they sleepwalk, and everyone's talking about the Illinois game coming up. And by the way, this could bite them against Michigan State next week, too. Everyone's talking about the Illinois game or the Michigan game or the Notre Dame game. It's like a month and a half away. No, you need to be focused on the Purdue game. You have not earned benefit of the doubt yet. I may be higher on you than the AP poll is, but not that much higher. So I'm going to put a 5 on it, only because they haven't proven to me that they have the competitive maturity to just go handle business. Maybe that changes here. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. I think I've been told during Monday Night Football this week, I don't know if this is true. Someone needs to fact check this. I was told during a big football game, big NFL game last week, I was just steadily tweeting about Vandy, South Carolina. Maybe I was. It does sound like me. I just don't remember doing it. South Carolina's favored by 4.5 against Vandy. That's with home field. You got to figure home field worth at least 3. Cockpit on a Saturday night. 1.5 points of implied separation on a neutral field between these teams? You think so? Diego Pavia behind a very big Vanderbilt offensive line. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later with Kublik. I just don't know that South Carolina's doing enough offensively to warrant me trusting them. It's Lenora Sellers, and then, look, that wide receiver production you guys promised me, that hasn't shown itself yet. Offensive line has been nothing to write home about so far. This is a big moment for Vanderbilt's offense in general. They really turned it on against Virginia Tech last week. They outgained them by 300 in the second half. And even though it's week 3, think about how weird this is. Both of these teams have a common opponent already in Virginia Tech. Vandy thoroughly outplayed Virginia Tech in their own building. South Carolina needed special teams magic to beat them down in Atlanta to pull away from them. Now, that counts. That is a true 1/3 phase of the game. It's just from a predictive standpoint, can I count on it showing up again Saturday night? Maybe I can. Maybe that's what brings a win home for South Carolina. But I'm worried about it. I'm putting a 10 on it. I'm worried about it. Some would go as far as to say I'm predicting Vandy to win the game outright. And I am. I am predicting Vandy to win the game outright. Not a ton of conviction. I'm not betting it. But I am worried about it for South Carolina. Next up, now this one's egregious. This one's egregious. You're going to think it's a typo. You're going to think Bradley has screwed up. There it is. Okay, look at the screen. If you're listening on podcast, what Bradley has just done is he has wiped to a lower third that features the Oklahoma Sooners logo and the Temple Owls logo. Hoo-hoo! What is this, you might ask? A college football game that's happening this Saturday. And then the follow-up question is, okay, yeah, maybe they scheduled it. Everyone schedules these sorts of games. But why does it say Oklahoma at Temple? Surely that's a typo, right, Bradley? Bradley says no, it is not. Oklahoma is going on the road to Temple. So we watch big-time NFL games happen in Lincoln Financial Field all the time. We're going to watch John Mateer in Lincoln Financial Field. Now, maybe we'll say that for years to come. I don't know where he's going to get drafted. I just never really thought that I would see him or them play in this venue in college. But here we are. They're favored by 21.5. It's a very weird travel spot, obviously. There is some OU grad that lives in Westchester up there that never thought his team would come to him. He'd always have to go to his team. And now, here we are. Here we are. Just drive down to the link and take in an Oklahoma football game. So you're coming off the Michigan game, letdown spot. You've got Auburn on deck, look-ahead spot, which is the dreaded letdown look-ahead sandwich spot, which sounds like 1996 handicapping in the betting world. It still rings true. I think that's why this number is only 21.5, though. Temple did run for 300 last week. They put 560 up, I think, against Howard. Yeah. You may not have met him before, but he played Temple last week. Look, this is a 3.5 for me. It's all about schedule dynamics. If Oklahoma's okay there, they'll be okay. But there's a reason it's an if.